it's fascinating, and at the same time, it's kind of boring how predictable some of these people can be. You know, you're just shocked by how they defend that which cannot possibly be defended. Like, I mean, some of the most horrible things humanity has done in a long time. In a long time. It's just happening right in front of our eyes. You can see it or not. That's really up to you. In fact, I would suggest don't watch it. It doesn't do you any good. You will suffer. You will feel pain that is it's lingering. It stays there. Because human suffering, especially when it comes to little children and some of the brutal, horrible things that so many of them are enduring right now, it is, it makes you wonder, right? It makes you wonder about the religious stuff. I was raised Catholic. I have this thing where I don't really consider myself very religious, especially not these days. And I'm super fortunate in life with my family, my wife, my kids. I do what I love for a living. I mean, what more could I possibly ask? No, not really much at all. And at the same time, you see the world in the state it is. I never thought we'd see this again. I thought that we were in this point where you cannot do these things anymore because people will see. The world would see if you allow these atrocities to happen. And yet they happen, you see them, and no one cares anymore. No one bothers to look them up, which I'm saying just don't do it. Or maybe do. Maybe if you honestly doubt many of the things that it's just more convenient to just ignore and just pretend they're not happening. Maybe you have to check some of them up to see that, so this is real. So it's not all actors. It's not what some shill out there is saying or not. It actually is this terrible. And at the same time, you can tell what they will say, what the alignment will be. Look, I haven't seen this channel, Talk TV. I don't know who any of these guys is. But I just clicked on it, started watching, and let me know if you see the same things I do. Let me know the alignment of the agendas, from the elites. On one hand, you have to be super tolerable of the LGBT agenda because that is nothing is more important in this world than the LGBT plus agenda and the rights of the LGBT agenda people. Nothing in this world could possibly be more important. What about blowing up people? No, LGBT is more. What about climate change? That is super important. So if I care about climate change, is it doing anything to the environment, blowing the shit out of the world? Not really. Well, but we have to be careful about it. Is so much contradictions, one after the other, that you just go, God damn it, we definitely are fucked. There's no way in which humanity, what humanity has turned into, has much of a choice. We are surrounded by dumbasses, by ignorance, by people that are honestly pure evil. There's a lot of that, unfortunately. And it's often the case that some of the more despicable, evil people capable of absolutely everything, of course, just because of that own nature of theirs, they achieve quite a bit in life, positions of power, a lot of money, a lot of power in their fields, right? The more ruthless and despicable you are and capable of doing absolutely everything, well, that also is a recipe for success. Sure, you can be virtuous, you can be a good human being and achieve quite a bit, but it's also the case that the more capable of doing absolutely everything, right? There's people that will not compromise some values. When you have none, there's nothing that will distract you in compromising or not. You just go ahead with it. I know it's a little bit of a longer video, but I just want to share this with you guys.
Welcome our first guest onto the show, Kenneth O'Keefe, who former US Marine in the Gulf War. Kenneth, thank you very much indeed. I love the hat.
Well, you're not the only one who says that. I get compliments all the time.
Do you like? Are you completely bald underneath, or?
Oh, actually, no. I've got a full head of hair. Actually,
oh, for goodness!
Oh, well, because you used to wear it. You wouldn't wear it if you had hair like that, would you? Because you used to wear cowboy hats.
I shaved mine off. That's a very nice hat. Is it a Stetson?
Oh, you know, I'm not even going to tell you, because then you might try and steal my thunder and wear the hat that's given me so many compliments, you know.
That's not what's happening. It's not what's happening.
You can wear it if you feel happier wearing it.
You know
feel
what?
free.
No, it's cool. I started the interview with it. I'll just go casual now.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the Middle East. You were in the Gulf War. Is there, first question I want to know, and I'll ask it.
I want you to look at, I mean, it's going to be about Gaza and all of this stuff, and there's going to be other popular topics involved here. I want you to also notice the body language of these people, the victimizing, the blaming, the accusations, the typical tricks used so many times into shutting you down. But also, I want you to pay attention at the physical thing of people that are intolerant and often violent and have some kind of behavior condition in one way or another. But it is all so interesting. That's why I want to share this video with you. It's so interesting to see those little signs, little red flags from people that you should be careful about.
Everybody about this. Is there a solution?
Well, there is, but I'm a firm believer. You know, I've quoted many great people. I've studied, I've read many books, and I continue to read. I always seek to learn. My favorite quote of all time is, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." If we don't understand the truth of what's really happening, then we're hard-pressed to find any kind of solution.
So what, in your view, because truth is different to all kinds of people. One person's truth is not necessarily another. So what do you...
That's the kind of thing you have to be careful. No, there is the truth. There is always the truth about something. There's opinions. You can have an opinion, but if I say that this Victorinox isn't red, I'm just lying to you and lying to myself maybe. The truth is, though, that this is red. Oh, no, but it's not. It's a caramel color bullshit. No. This is a roll of paper tape. This is a fucking Victorinox knife. These are simple facts. Now, my opinion is that it's a great knife. My opinion is that, yeah, it has enough tools. Someone else may say, no, I believe that the mini champ is superior. Okay, these are all different opinions. But the truth is undeniable. But here you have the first cue of these people will try to trick you into thinking, no, a man is not a man, a woman is not a woman, your opinion is as good as mine, and opinions are also facts. There's no such thing as facts. There's no such thing as bad people. There's no such thing as good people. Everyone could be good or bad. This is a message that is very strong these days. This idea that there's no such thing as good people. There's no such thing as good. Everyone is awful. So we're all bad. It's just a matter of, well, I'm just bad for the things that are convenient for me, and you're just bad for you. But this idea of everyone being in the same boat, often used by criminals, often used by corrupt politicians. One of the things I saw most of my life, the idea that, yeah, we all steal. No, we don't. We are all not thieves. We don't all steal. We're not all corrupt. You know, you would like to confuse people into thinking that it is not true. And yes, there is such a thing as facts. There's such a thing as reality, right? Trying to obscure that is probably in your best interest, but it's not correct. It's not true.
You think the truth is of what? I mean, is it got anything to do with religion? You know, they say because people's religions all started in the Middle East, that's why there's still conflict.
No, it's not about religion. I think it's clearly about humanity. And plus, I've called out fake Christians and fake Muslims for a long time, such as the Christian Zionists, so-called. They believe that in order for their Messiah, Jesus, a man I love as myself, that in order for him to come back, that the Jews need to rebuild the third temple, and then their Messiah is going to come, while the Jews believe that their Messiah is going to come. We can argue about who that is, by the way.
And what about
all
the Muslims?
Ridiculous. And the Muslims,
that's just religion, isn't it? That's just
the Muslims are, their stake in it is that they ultimately have an observatory role in watching these two things play out, but their episcatology and that's a whole nother subject. I mean, we could get into that quite a bit, but the bottom line is this. What I appreciate and respect about Islam is that according to proper Islam, Jesus is a prophet. He is much loved. His mother Mary is also deeply revered.
Can I just say, I mean, I am not religious in any way.
I'm spiritual, by the way.
I'm spiritual. I believe in things I'm not prepared to discuss with other people.
Sure.
And it's into our individual selves that we should stay true. But the religions, all the religions you talk about, homophobic, misogynistic, controlling. They're all like that, the three of them. Islam is probably the...
So bald guy here, again, the first time I seeing this, I just went for a few minutes and I thought, you know what? This is interesting. This is the kind of people that it's not going to be a TikTok video for some people that have very little patience these days, seems to be very common. James Whale, I assume, is the bald guy. He's very concerned about women and gay people. These are things that are apparently very close to his heart, that he's obviously very concerned about these nasty religions. And it's also very interesting why all religions agree on certain things just not being cool, not being okay with. It's strange how on one end you have that, but put that in a post-it note, right? Write down how concerned he is about the rights of certain groups of people. Then he seems to not really care about the most basic right of all, which is the right to live. But, well, that's another story.
The newest religion, it's still very anti-women, whatever they say.
And Christian, you know, they're very hardcore.
Given that this isn't a philosophical debate, and we have concision, which Noam Chomsky talks about, in manufacturing consent, I can't get into all of the counter-arguments to that. I believe that if you worship thyself and your freedom to the point that you sacrifice morality, first off, I'm a heterosexual male. I know. Candace Owen, do you like Candace Owen? Candace Owen just called out Don Lemon for being immoral and sinful. I believe, and I know, as a matter of fact, if we all decided to become homosexual, guess what? We're going extinct real fast.
Oh, that is a toughy one, right? That is very... What is that? Well, I'll tell you what. That is a fucking fact. It's not an opinion of this man, who I honestly don't even know that... So it's Kenneth O'Keefe, apparently former U.S. Marine, Gulf War veteran, and has an opinion on what's going on in Gaza, right? But what he just stated, you may be offended by the Victorinox being read. You may be offended by this being a roll of tape. You just cannot change the facts, can you? If we are all like that, we will go extinct within one generation. So how good could it possibly be? Is it really all that healthy for us? Well, certainly not healthy for humanity if we all practice it and we all just fucking die. But you already see bald guy not being comfortable because things are really not going his way. This argument about, he's just getting unsettled. And the behavior, the violence, the physical signs, the things that you show something not being quite okay.
I also know that this country has been fostering homosexuality.
Everything has its time and place. we will die anyway. So, okay, we rig the entire planet with nuclear bombs and blow the entire thing to but, I mean, we could all just go anyway. Well, it's not about we could. It's about 100% fact. If we all engage in that specific practice, there will not be a single human being in this planet within one generation. It is that simple. You may not like it. You may feel that it does you boo-boo in your super sensitive feels, but that's the way it is, right?
And transgenderism.
So should it be illegal?
To such an issue.
Is that why?
I also know that this country has been fostering homosexuality and transgenderism.
So should it be illegal?
To such an issue.
Is that why?
To such an issue, it's causing major problems. Do you realize the statistics of those who become illegal?
Yeah.
Illegal. No, there's no need to. We should become moral.
Oh.
That's the root cause. The root cause is the idea that you were born different from who you really are. The idea that you're so free that you can change your sex, chemically castrate as you can in California.
Have you tried homosexuality?
Right now in California.
That's a different thing.
Right now in California, a child can chemically castrate.
Well, that's wrong.
And literally without parental consent.
Guys, let's keep it.
This is not a good way to go at all.
No, I agree.
I cannot understand.
He's a little bit transphobic, isn't he? That's wrong. Oh, right.
How being a gay person, a homosexual person, upsets so many religious people. I just don't understand it. Well, have you ever been gay and then sort of decided that was the wrong path?
I don't need to be.
This is a typical thing these people will do. Like, oh, you probably feel the same way I do, but you're just not brave enough to admit it. But we've all been there, haven't we? We all like that. No, bald dude. We do not. We find it as appealing as eating a dog shit sandwich. The idea itself is repulsive. And it's never, not for a fraction of a second, not for a while, not for a minute, never, because it goes against your basic nature. You're supposed to, being alive basically is being born, growing, reproducing yourself and dying. Reproducing yourself is an important part of being alive. Oh, but what if I'm single and, oh yeah, sure. But it's within your biology. If you don't understand that, check between your legs. You probably have the equipment for such a thing. That important it is. It is that freaking important. No, you don't have pens and rulers or a calculator or a hammer or a saw. No, the equipment that biology equipped you with, right, is very specific and for one purpose. It is that important for not only us, for all living beings. But we have to confuse people. We have to twist reality. We have to make it whatever I believe at that moment is supposed to be. And everyone has their own opinions, and opinions are apparently now facts as well. This is the trick of, well, you're probably you're probably a closet one, aren't you?
Well, I don't
First
know.
off, I've never been confused about my heterosexuality at all. Love and respect. God made you the way you are. I believe in God, by the way, which is different from the religion that I think you're confusing perhaps myself with.
Why do you believe in God? Why do you think there is a God? With all the trouble on this planet.
Put me on for a longer program. I'll give you a diatribe on the whole damn thing. I have had miracles done to me. I have witnessed miracles. I shouldn't even be here. I was already dead, came back from the dead, brain damaged, starved, tortured. I've been through all of it. So, you're not going to be... You can believe whatever you want to believe.
Listen, I'm terminally ill. Yes. I may be here in a month. Yes. I may not. I don't know. It's been going on for a few years. And I've got a number of...
Terminal ill. It's been going on for a few years. Which one is it? And by the way, we could all be here or not tomorrow or within a few hours, right? Especially in certain parts of the world where you're getting bombed all the time. But yeah, at any time you could get hit by a bus or have some disease. That changes nothing.
Tumors, and I'm on treatment and everything else, but it's got nothing to do with God. It's got to do with, I believe that your life is probably mapped out in some kind of way I can't even think or explain, and you might call that God, I don't know. But I think these are things that people should keep to themselves rather than arguing about, because arguing is what brings us to the subject we were talking about mainly, is what's happening in the Middle East. We seem to be...
Well, Hamas specifically...
Just a minute, will you be quiet for a moment? We seem...
Do you see how he hit him and said, "You be quiet for a minute"? He hit him, the guy, he just slapped him. I mean, it's not but it's still a physical thing. It just shows the character. It just shows so much.
To believe everything that comes out of the Hamas, who are terrorists, I'm sure you agree with that, who are over there doing despicable things, both to Palestinians and anybody else they can. And yet our mainstream media put out whatever Hamas tell them as a fact.
Do you know that 0.02% of the human population has a massively disproportionate amount of control of the mainstream media?
I do.
Do you know who controls Hollywood? Are you suggesting that Hamas
Disney
is a counterweight to the...
Are you saying Hollywood
Jewish
is the media? The movie industry is the media.
And these are
the movies aren't the media.
Facts and truth.
Be quiet.
Truth. I don't disagree that propaganda exists on all sides, but the idea that the Islamic propaganda outweighs the Jewish propaganda for the Jewish state of Israel
Hollywood, Die Hard, what are you talking about?
Be quiet.
At best.
Listen, that is not
You're mixing up the media with Hollywood.
Ash,
You're mixing up reality with movies.
You know, I think about sacking him every week, and I'm really beginning to think about it now. Yeah. The problem is...
I can use your mind.
You can't.
The tolerance of Mr. worried about the rights of minorities. And let's make perfectly clear who's wrong in Gaza, because let's not even think about who's butchering thousands and thousands of people. But you're using humans. It is concerning, really. The gay guy worried about the rights of the LGBT and how extreme Christians are in their misogyny towards women, he apparently is not really concerned at all about thousands of people being blown up to pieces, especially little children, women, and absolutely completely innocent men as well. Men matter as well. One of the things that surprised me is this thing, oh, it's so many, it's thousands of innocent little children and women. And yeah, yes, it is sickening how many children are being exterminated right now. With your money and mine. It's our governments that are financing this. But men matter as well. Men of all ethnic. For Mr. Inclusive here, it's a little bit surprising that he doesn't figure that out. But no matter what religion you are, no matter what color of skin you are, you did nothing wrong. Why are you being blown up? Why are you held in a giant-ass prison of a strip of land? Why have you been held there for decades? Why were you even born a prisoner to begin with? Oh, it's all just because of... Stop it. Such ignorance at this point, given the amount of information available all over. It gets to a point where I understand that you cannot do it all. And that's what I try to do here on the channel. But there is a point in which if you really do care, and at this point, I don't see how you cannot. I mean, I've known about these things even before I had a YouTube channel. It's not all that difficult to look it up. Since you have internet, right? It's not all that difficult. Yes, there's going to be bias and there's going to be ways in which you are being led one way or another, especially in the United States with all of the left and right, right? If you're right wing, you have to align with this. If you're left wing, you have to align with this, which at the end of the day, basically all of them align in the same place. But I'm not saying it's easy, but it's fucking all not that difficult. Just do a little bit of research if you care. And again, you should, because I think that in this video, you see how it's like a network, right? It's the pro-Zionist guy being the pro-gay guy, worried about how awful Christians are and how much they negate the rights of women. And it is so clearly aligned with the message of the elite, the all-powerful globalist elite that controls everything, from the media to your money to institutions that affect every single thing, and the message is still on the same level. The way in which they try to influence us successfully is beyond doubt at this point.
The problem is that we are now allowing Hamas, who are terrorists, you've got to,
Listen, let me reply.
There's no way
I want to give you the
defend
satisfaction of getting a different answer from anything. First off, genocide. Let's get into that. To destroy in whole or part a national, ethnic, or religious group. That's Black's Law Dictionary. I've been quoting that ever since I made a film called The United States of Hypocrisy.
Which is not what's happening,
about
is it?
the Hawaiian genocide 25 years ago.
Is it?
That policy is carrying on to this day. Now, with regard to terrorists, the government in Ireland right now was the terrorist of the day back in Thatcher's days. Do you ever hear of a guy named Nelson Mandela? You ever hear of him? Yeah.
Patronizing me.
Both sides of Ireland.
It is. I mean, you surround with their own bullshit, right? So Mandela, he was a freedom fighter, right? His wife, who talked about eliminating the whites, that was also a freedom fighter. And when they started putting tires and burning them around people, that was also freedom fighters. Well, things are not always all that clear cut, all that simple, and sometimes things get pretty messy and brutal. Ireland is a good example of that, even though, yeah, you probably heard about the IRA. Have you ever heard about the fucking IDF? I sure as hell have. I've seen it. I know what those people are. Do you know what the IDF is? Of course you have. Do you know what the Orange Order is? Do you know what they do to little Catholic girls, spitting on them in schools? I've seen that. You probably haven't. You have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, of course. Look it up. It's IDF, WF. It was so many. How many of those? But yeah, that Brad Pitt movie with Harrison Ford, those are... It is interesting, man. It is fascinating. It's so interesting. And seeing them lose their shit when he just corners them with something as simple. Well, you know what apartheid is in South Africa, right? Was that okay? No? Well, is it a lot better off now?
Terrorists, both sides. You don't know it.
According to Margaret Thatcher and Ronald, terrorist. He became a much revered and respected man. He did.
You don't understand.
He did. So, Listen, Hamas, by the way, was democratically elected. They have never been given an opportunity to allow the political process. Jimmy Carter himself said it was a valid election. Now, if you ask
Jimmy
about
Carter
what they...
nearly ruined the world. You can't go and lie it. Jimmy Carter and Obama, probably the two worst presidents in America.
If you want to say that the election was invalid, fair enough. You don't have to like them. I don't like any of them. They all should be. I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, to fight all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God. But I took that serious. That was a 19-year-old kid that I was. I've taken that serious ever since.
So you've got the experience to understand.
They're all traitors, all of them.
But why?
Every president except Kennedy.
Why is it now acceptable? Let's put it this way, and you please be quiet. Why is it so acceptable to be anti-Semitic? We've had marches through our
The Palestinians are Semitic. They are speaking Semitic languages coming from the Semitic region.
It's perfectly acceptable to walk through the capital of this country shouting, "Kill the Jews," from the river to the sea.
Where do you hear that?
I've heard it on a lot of news programs. They're not putting it out now.
Which news program? I want to know.
News programs.
Which one?
Go and look.
I've looked all the time. I've never heard anybody talking about.
Let's talk about the 40,000 dead. Let's talk about the 40,000 dead.
Well, please tell the whole audience where to find it. I don't know where to find that. I've not seen nothing about kill the Jews.
Flags, kill the Jews. There've been people.
I've never seen any kill the Jew stuff.
Well, then you haven't watched.
I haven't seen it. I'm not doing my research.
That's what they all do that. But let's talk about
I haven't seen it. Where is it?
All right.
Why can't you cite it? Show it. Tell people where to go.
I am not going to go and find it. Go online and look for the march.
From the river to the sea. You've seen that, haven't you?
Do you know about Greater Israel? Do you know what Greater Israel is?
Forget all this crap. What about the 40,000?
Let's talk about the 40,000.
Let's talk about.
Do you know about Greater Israel?
Forget all that crap.
Do you know about the Samson option?
Just forget all this conspiracy crap. Let's talk about what's going on.
There's no conspiracy.
Let's talk about what real stuff.
Samson option's a conspiracy.
All right, let's talk about.
Do you know a guy named Mordecai Vanunu who exposed the nuclear weapons program?
Do you believe there's 40,000 dead?
How about John F. Kennedy who stood up to them and wanted Demona inspected?
This is irrational.
There's no conspiracy theory there.
The main story we're trying to talk to you about is the 40,000.
At this point, I'm worried about getting. How much freedom do we have left, man? How much can we talk about these things? How much can you talk about this on YouTube? I see it has a million subscribers. Well, yes, I guess they do, right? I guess that you do. Anyway.
Do you agree there's 40,000 dead with the Hamas health ministry?
Do you agree with that?
You look confused.
Okay, excuse me. You are trying to ask a leading question to get the answer you want. I'm going to answer the question. I'll tell you what I do know. There's about 20,000 dead kids. And even if they're not,
how many dead
by the way, do you grieve over those three kids that died recently? Do you grieve over those kids, those children that were stabbed?
Will you be quiet?
Do you care? Is there 1,000? Is it 2,000, 3,000, 5,000? How many dead kids are there? How many dead kids? Do you value their lives equally?
Quiet now.
Do you?
You did that as a Marine.
Do you value the lives of the Palestinian children
I should be throwing myself out in a few minutes.
You're a Marine. Children got killed. It's called collateral damage.
Too many kids. By the fourth largest military in the world.
Hang on, both of you.
Weapons.
Be quiet, both of you, or you're going to have to go. You're going to have to go out.
It's a shit show. I haven't gotten to this point, so this is kind of funny. But I mean, fuck, funny. No, it's not funny. It's true that it is fucking terrible. I'm now in Twitter, and I got the little blue check mark thing. But it is so terrible. There's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of the other stuff as well. There's a lot of the yeah, it's pretty bad, man. But well, does he value dead children? Well, so many dead children, so many years of madness. It's how many have been like collateral damage from U.S. guys? Anyone that knows that in the comments below. I know that this is particularly horrible and fucking insane and pure evil because it is. But how many years of war in the Middle East from the United States? How much collateral damage? How much blowing the shit out of places that you're basically invading for what? Because Israel says, because oil, because changing one government for another that's more beneficial. How much of this madness? Why even be there in the first place? Why is it that the United States has to be in the Middle East in the first place? What? Well, you have people like Ron Paul that has a very clear idea of we should only look at the only border that I should be worrying about is mine with fucking Mexico and Canada. Those are the only borders we should really care about, right? Well, yes, of course. Everything else is about money, greed, power from people that are not going to go there. They're not going to send their kids to die over there. They're not going to get blown up themselves, that's for sure. They cannot care less if you kill 1,000 Afghanis, Iraqis, Iranians, or Palestinians. Could not give a damn less. And, well, the closest thing you will get to that if someone loses their shit and starts doing something in some other part of the world so as to have some sort of redemption or vengeance or whatever that you could possibly think of, or just losing their shit. Maybe that is the closest you will be to getting the consequences of all of this. But for most people, it's just over there, you know? And it is such a comfortable position to be in, and just go with a mainstream narrative of, well, yeah, they're probably all bad people, and if not, well,
Listen, you're ruining the program.
Yeah, war.
You're going to have to go out.
You've never been in a war. I've been in a war.
Yeah,
That ain't
listen,
a war. That's a
I know what
slaughter.
collateral damage is.
You need to go. I feel like most normal people sorry for anybody, particularly children, who get killed.
Exactly.
Very bad. For the hundreds of thousands of kids across the world, in Yemen, in Sudan, various places that never come on our media. I feel sorry.
And who the fuck is starving and killing kids in Yemen? Who is it? Who's giving them the weapons to do that? Who's supporting all of the Yemen that fucking bald dude here now feels so sorry about, the starving kids in Yemen? Who's financing that? Who's making sure that happens? What weapons are the Arabs using for that? Saudis. What is it that they're using? What is it that the Saudis are using to shit all over that fucking place? Right? Damn it.
For all of them. I also feel sorry for our Jewish community, who sometimes are now living in fear in parts of this country because of the people who seem to want to support a terrorist organisation. Even our media, the BBC, who the sooner we get rid of them, the better, as far as I'm concerned. Not until I've done Celebrity
British
MasterChef.
Propaganda Corporation.
But you know, they just take and put out what a terrorist organisation say.
I thought you'd
Had
like
them
the BBC.
just be quiet.
Love the BBC.
Sorry about this, but I mean, every week I am going to sack him.
kicked
I've had
the
it for
BBC's
25
ass
years.
2 times. They
The
invited me on
collateral
Hard
damage
Talk.
is one to one. It's a record
Ash,
in urban
will you
warfare.
stop
If you speak
taking
to
it
Colonel
elsewhere?
Richard Kemp.
Ash, I've got
Did
only
you
a
believe
few
in the weapons
seconds.
of
Be
mass
quiet.
destruction too,
No, not
Ash?
at all. Not at all.
Really?
Look,
Neither did I.
Can you not look at him and talk to him because he's a pain in the ass? Listen, the fact is that we are living in a society where social media bend the truth. And they don't do it on purpose. The fact is that human beings are lazy, and we tend not to look into what we've seen. And so if you see something that's online, you think of it the same as it being on the media or whatever, and eventually it all will be. But you must use your own mind to make up decisions and not be told by other people what to think. Had there been genocide on the West Bank, and by the way, on Gaza, by the way, the people who go around like the Jewish.
He says, think for yourself, and he's putting into doubt if there is no fucking building left. It was all demolished. It's over 90% destroyed. All of the schools, all of the hospitals, all of the universities. You can look it up yourself. Laughing as they put explosives and blow this shit up and say, haha, now become an engineer. He knows nothing of this. He says that you should be doing your own research and ignores all of this. The intentional starvation of all of those people, that is by definition genocide. You had to fucking fire the genocide expert from the UN because he said it is, and I quote, textbook genocide. And bald gay dude here wonders about how people are not doing research themselves and thinking for themselves. Really?
Settlers. I would lock all of those up. Set fire to that village the other day. In my mind, vile, horrible. But let me just make this point and then you can come back.
Right,
the point is, had
there
there been any kind of genocide in Gaza, it would have been finished, the fight, a long time ago.
About a week.
Okay, listen. Now, as a student of law who takes law very seriously, it seems, James, that you're waiting for every single one of the Palestinians to be exterminated before you're willing to acknowledge a genocide. The whole point...
He's a fucking idiot. So you have to wait until they exterminate everyone? That's not how it works. When there is an intentional... it's a couple of things. It's about displacement. It's about destroying the houses and living. But yes, when you are specifically targeting people based on their ethnicity, religion, skin color, whatever, that's what constitutes a genocide. This bald, fat fuck, he thinks that it's only when you exterminate all of them that it actually is? I mean, how stupid can you be?
Bringing charges at the International Criminal Court is to avoid the ultimate genocide.
Right.
Now, by the way, Greater Israel, getting back to it, you say it's a conspiracy. That's ignorant, by the way. Greater Israel is an absolutely declared intention plan. And guess who stands in the way of Greater Israel more than anybody else? The Palestinians, because they have a lawful claim to that land. Historic Palestine is known as a factual reality.
Yeah, the greatest problem here is not that they claim that they have to the land, which all of that only matters when you have rule of law. When the rule of law, you make it up as you go, which is the case in Israel and in the international community. The greatest problem that Israel has is the millions of people that they just cannot simply easily get rid of. They're trying to get rid of them, but it's kind of tough to exterminate so many millions of people. You can exterminate a few thousand. You can, in their own words, you can mow the lawn a little bit with frequent bombing and destroying and slaughtering. You can do that, but getting rid of so many million people, it is kind of tough to get away with. They are getting away with it. They're slowly starving these people to death. But eventually, when all of them are gone, when all of them starve to death, some fat fucking dude they just were very hungry. They were just not. They probably were very lazy, right? So someone will come up with the excuse, because that's the point in which we have reached in history. We have reached a point in humanity in which absolutely everything, and I mean everything, is justifiable. Even the atrocities that these people are doing in their own prisons, caught on video, spread in social media for everyone to see, which they celebrate. The kind of thing that should land you in jail in any civilized country, of course. You should go to prison for the kind of horrible, degenerate abuse. But no, it is celebrated. And when you even just question it, you get attacked, because it is our right to do these things to these people. It has gone to a point in which you wonder, how evil can people be? Well, quite a bit.
It's in the Bible, which you may or may not care about. The bottom line is the history books make this clear. Jesus was a Palestinian from Nazareth, no less. These are the descendants of Jesus of Nazareth. Whether you love him, hate him, acknowledge him,
you take it back to history, we're never going to get anywhere.
We've only got a minute left. Can we not talk about the 40,000 dead? Can we not talk about
historical facts?
Are we going to talk about that or not?
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to know? I want to know if you think 40,000 dead is the lowest ratio of innocent people killed compared to terrorists in modern urban warfare.
If we listen to The Lancet, they say the actual number is going to be about 187,000.
So Hamas are underestimating it, are they? Hamas are on Israel's side
now. Then wouldn't that really upset you then, Ash?
That must be a load of bunkum,
So what do you think of The Lancet? Since you don't like Hamas, what do you think of The Lancet? The British medical journal, The Lancet. What do you think of their
BMA? They're totally non-political. Yeah, cool.
So who's your source then for truth? How do you know anything? Where do you get your knowledge?
Thank you.
So you want to downplay the dead people for what? You get paid to say
David Icke. Knowledge. Richard Tyson.
And then I'm going to talk to Richard
David Icke.
Anyway, that was entertaining. Well, but again, the message about this, about everything, the message of the elite is quite clear. And well, we have to, think for ourselves more than ever. We have to be critical thinkers more than ever. You have to find the truth more than ever. It is the mainstream media constantly bombarding you with false information, with false narrative, with confusing messages at times. But man, it is so bad right now that the truth is just slapping you in your face. And I think that more and more people are waking up to it. I hope that's definitely the case for you if you're watching the channel. Guys, see you on the next video. Take care.